Has got the inside scoop. We got plenty of hoops coming your way as well. But we start in New England, where the Patriots offseason began with Cam Newton, signing him to another one-year deal. $3.5 million is all he has guaranteed. He led all quarterbacks with 12 rushing touchdowns last year, but the door is certainly open. They actually brought a lot of people in through that door in free agency, including tight ends Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, along with wide receiver Nelson Aguilar, all part of $165 million in guarantees that they spent this offseason. Then they took Mac Jones at number 15 overall, the first time any Bill Belichick team has ever taken a quarterback in round one. So back to Cam. He was on KGZ yesterday talking about the rookie.
Let's be honest. I've been playing this game long enough to know, that's the right pick. Mac and Cheese is a person doing the initiatives of learning his teammates, understanding that, I got to raise my level of play, from the collegiate level to the professional level. And I'm here for him, and as well as he is here for me. When Mac was picked, there was no type of ill will feelings, and there's still no ill will feelings because, competition breeds out the best in everybody. And it's really put up or shut up time.
It's an interesting way to look at it. And here's a man who never shuts up, and I mean that in the best way. That's Mike Reese, our Patriots reporter, who joins us live outside Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. What can you tell us about Cam's mindset as we are now less than 2 weeks away from training camp?
Yeah, Greeny, Cam said he's going to be reporting here in 6 days, raring to go. And, his mindset, Greeny, is he's all in to the Patriots culture. And if I had to sum it up in Cam's own verbiage, it would be that Boogie is buying what Dollar Bill, y'all, is selling. I could just picture Bill Belichick enjoying one final week in Nantucket, reading Cam Newton's comments and just nodding in approval, Greeny. Tamp down the hype. It's all about actions, not words, for Cam Newton.
I've worked with Bart Scott a really long time. That might be the hardest I've ever seen him laugh. Is Bart just sitting here listening to that?
We'll never do that again.
In the meantime, I've lost my place. So what is the expectation there, though? So Cam, he calls the rookie Mac and Cheese. You heard him with a sort of very mature way of looking at that situation there. What's a realistic expectation for how long Cam has that job before Mac Jones takes it?
Well, I think Rob Ninkovich would agree with this. Bill Belichick always says that's not up for him to decide. The players will decide that out on the field. And, two examples stand out to me, Greeny, over the Bill Belichick era. Go back to Tom Brady's second year, 2001. He was the third quarterback on the depth chart behind Drew Bledsoe and Damon Heward, a veteran who they had actually brought in that offseason. He made a huge charge in training camp that year, ended up as the number 2, a good example of a player sort of determining his role. And the second would be 2009. I remember the third or fourth day of training camp, a long snapper named Rob Ninkovich, who had been cut by the Saints, showed up on the field. He's snapping over on the side of the field, and everyone's saying, I wonder how long this guy is going to stick around. Well, he stuck around for a long time and became a big-time contributor for the Patriots.
That is just outstanding work by Mike Reese this morning in every conceivable way. Thank you. Live with us this morning from Gillette. We'll come back with you with much more as we need it. Meantime, Ninko, as you see, is with us today, and Jeremy Fowler and Bart Scott is here. And Ninko, I will start with you there because he mentioned you specifically, and you're a good example. Now, you weren't a first-round pick that everyone has their eye on, and Cam Newton was that one time, and Mac Jones is that now. What is your expectation for how this thing plays out with those two quarterbacks?
It's going to come down to performance, and Mike said it best. Every single day, Bill talks about competition, and you want to have competition, and competition does bring out the best in everybody. So, you don't want a player coming into his position room and sitting down and looking around all these guys, I'm way better. You want competition. You want uncomfortable players, and that is when you are at your best. When you're uncomfortable, I don't care who you are, at any profession, when you're in a little bit of uncomfort, that's when you're on your best game. So for me, I have no issues with competition. That's the way the game is supposed to be. And I can think back to in 2009 when I got to the team and I was just a long snapper from the Saints that had no shot really getting onto a roster, let alone playing, starting a lot of games for the Patriots. And one thing that Bill says to every single player, every single year that stuck in my head was, I don't care who you are, where you're from, what your draft status is, what your contract is. If you can help us win, you will be here. So it all is going to come down to training camp and what quarterback can go out there and perform at the highest level. And number one, take care of the football. And number two, lead that offense to check in. And I always say this, the best quarterbacks check whatever play it is in the perfect play against what the defense is showing you. So whatever quarterback can go out there and get that offense in the right play and execute that play properly is going to be that starting quarterback.
Which one is it, Bart? If this team is going to make the playoffs this year, who's the quarterback who's going to take them there?
Well, I think either quarterback can take him there because of the supporting cast. And Cam understands that he's at a crossroad. Listen, he's 32 years old. This isn't his last destination, Greeny. So he understands he's just a placeholder. He's holding this young man off for as long as he can. You know, we've seen other quarterbacks put in this position. Remember a guy named Michael Vick was one of the most dynamic players, and then he came back in his second act. He wasn't able to be a starting quarterback. I also look at Kurt Warner, a guy like Kurt Warner that went, people forget about Kurt Warner with the Giants, right? He went there, he found himself and took a team back to the Super Bowl. Which Cam is going to show up, I don't know, because he was skipping footballs like Kevin from the Wonder Years last year, like was skipping rocks. You know, so he's going to have to figure out, this is a user-friendly team. You think about all the great players they have around them. They can win with a running game and play action down the field, but Cam is playing for his future. He realizes that. And at some point, Mac Jones has to realize mac and cheese is not a term of endearment. He's really poking fun at him. This is dad bod versus, vegan man. So he better realize that he's really dissing him. He better come on and start eating less carbs.
To be clear, that is Mac Jones there in the number 50. That's the uniform that they've given him in training camp. And so, Jeremy, let me come to you on that. What is the expectation? What does the league expect to happen here with this quarterback battle? And then I suppose when it becomes Mac Jones' job, what it becomes of Cam Newton?
Well, Greeny, I just checked in with a source this morning, and I was told everyone knows the dynamic in New England. Cam Newton is the favorite for the starting job going into training camp, but the team knows that the quarterback play must improve overall from last year. Bill Belichick hopes that Cam Newton can get that done. He's loved him behind the scenes with his work ethic. He is partial to Cam Newton, but as a league source pointed out, they drafted Mac Jones for a reason, so he will play eventually. It just depends on how long Newton can stave him off in camp and in the season.
All right, so we will see. That figures to be one of the many really interesting training camp battles we will have. Meanwhile, I showed you briefly there that Mac Jones wears the number 50. I can ask the question to Bart Scott, who wore it better? Because 50 was Ninko's number. Give me the breakdown here. Who wears the number 50 better, Bart? Rinkovich or Mac Jones?
Well, I'm going to look at Nico, and I'm going to look. I see some cuts, and I'm seeing some lines. Look, that jersey looks baggy on Mac Jones, and I'm looking at it. I'm going to go with Rob because I think he has a little bit less cellulite.
What do you think, Ninko?
Look, Bart, I love it. Linebackers sticking together, that's what I'm talking about. And listen, a quarterback just doesn't look right in a double-digit number that's that high. I mean, when's the last time we had a quarterback in the 50s? It had to have been the 50s. I don't know, because I don't think I've seen. Look, and then there's something about just like having a jersey, with the name across the back. Look at that, just looks good. Doesn't that just look good right there?
Yeah.
And this is my old man's. I grabbed it. I'm at my mom's house. I'll scream up for the meatloaf in a minute. But this is my dad. This is what he. Mom, this is what he rocked in the Super Bowl. That's the last game I played in right here. This is the jersey. So.
All right.
Way to rub it in, Rob.
Good stuff.
We'll see you.